So hello everyone. This marks the guidance of like simplified way of studying medical parasitology. So I'm going to share um, some of the hint and mostly asked questions that you expect as they try to assess you in medical parasitology, especially the SAR himself. So there are actually very few things that are usually asked in the medical parasitology in addition to the information that you learn, but there are those specific things that they must know things on each and every parasite. So I'm going to give the guide on how to study the parasite in readiness for you to answer MCQs um to make you pass. Okay. So my explanation, I'll base it on a certain parasite so that you can know how to go about everything. So, one thing that helped me studying medical parasitology and understanding concept, I used first of all to go with the knowing the life cycle of a parasite. So there are a lot of YouTube videos which have life cycles of tutors have explained on the life cycle of a parasite. So when you look at the life cycle of a parasite, you find that um though when you watch that short video, maybe 8 minutes or 7 minutes, it's more like you want to gain an overview of what that parasite is all about. After watching an overview of what that parasite is all about, you need now there are some specific things that you need to know now. So this parasite, you need to know the host, you need to know the mode of transmission, you need to know the way they multiply once they enter into the host, you need to know how they cause disease, that is pathogenesis, and you need to know um, the what is the signs and symptoms derived from pathogenesis. So pathogenesis is about how an interaction, how the parasite is evolved in causing of those signs and symptoms. Okay. So base as I said that today I'm going to base it on the what is the parasite of the of malaria parasite, that is the Plasmodium parasite. So when you look at the Plasmodium parasite, you watch an overview video on what the Plasmodium parasite is all about in terms of life cycle. You understand the life cycle of Plasmodium parasite. Then understand the hosts involved. You know, Plasmodium parasite cannot survive on its own. It needs the host. We have different types of hosts. We have the definitive hosts and we have the intermediate hosts. Intermediate host, this is a time when a parasite is at a very early stage, like the larva stage and everything. But the definitive host is where this the sexual production of a parasite occurs. So when you go to the host of a malaria parasite, we have two hosts. Okay. So we have one, the intermediate host being a human being, where it's going to be to go to develop and everything. Okay. But what is the definitive host for malaria parasite? We have the mosquito itself, Anopheles mosquito, where the sexual reproduction occurs. Then from there, you need to know the effective form. The effective form is a period when this parasite causes danger or it's able to, uh, you know, feed and do all those things. You know, the feeding process is the one which lead to clinical symptoms and signs as it is as it's closing, if it can be the small intestine or large intestine in terms of intermoeba histolytica or the other parasites which are usually specifically for the small intestine. Okay, so the effective stage of malaria parasite is actually the sporozoid stage. So what the mosquito will do is it will get once it ingests, okay, once it ingests the gametocytes, it injects it injects more like give you, as it want to get the blood meal from you, it injects the sporozoids. These sporozoids are the infective stage of malaria parasites once they go into your body system. Okay, then we need to look at the multiplication. This overview is for each and every parasite. This is how you need to study parasite. So how does this parasite, once it enters into the body, how does it multiply? Okay, so in case of malaria parasite, as I said, I'm going to base this explanation on malaria parasite. You find that the multiplication stages requires these parasites to enter into the liver, the sporozoid to enter into the liver cells. So there are actually about 3 stages of malaria parasite, the major process that occur. We have the exoerythrocytic, erythrocytic, and the gematogon. So when you look at the exoerythrocytic cycle, it's actually exoerythrocytic, meaning that it happens away from the red blood cells. Okay, so this happens in the liver where the sporozoids mature into schizones. Then once these schizones are in the hepatocytes, the cells of the liver, what they do, they burst and releases the merozoids, a lot of them. That is how they multiply. How do they multiply in the erythrocytic? Now they're in the red blood cells. They also the same the merozoids are actually burst from the combination of trophozoites in the red blood cells. So once these red blood cells burst, the sporozoites matured in the liver, and that is exocytosis cycle. The sporozoites matures in the liver, then they accumulate, then the hepatocytes can no longer accommodate them. What happens? They burst, releasing the merozoid. So this is the multiplication stage of malaria parasites. Okay. Then apart from the multiplication stage, now you need to, as it is in the system. So you need to know like the pathogenesis. Pathogenesis is about you understanding how this parasite is able to cause danger to your body. Okay, so pathogenesis is what determines signs and symptoms. How this parasite is going to affect you is going to determine the signs and symptoms. So, for example, I can give an example of the protozoa and parasite, like Entamoeba histolytica. You find that stool has blood in it. Why? It is because it's the corrosion of the small intestine, the lumen, it feeds on it, then blood being released in the process. So in terms of the Plasmodium monophilus, the Plasmodium parasite, sorry. So in terms of Plasmodium parasite, what really happened for it to cause those clinical signs and symptoms? That is the pathogenesis. Because pathogenesis is where we get the signs and symptoms. So how does someone develop fever? How does someone develop chills? How does someone develop headache? How does someone develop anemia? How does it go to complication of cerebral malaria? That is the pathogenesis. So in terms of malaria, someone develop fever and chills. That is just because of the rupture of the red blood cells. I said that the sporozoids, when they combine together. Sorry, that was a exoerythrocytic. But in terms of erythrocytic cycle, the liver stage, once these trophozoids they combine together, they mature. The red blood cell can no longer accommodate them. So what happens is they burst, releasing the merozoids. Okay, that just like that, it continues like that. If there is no treatment, you can lose a lot of red blood cells in the body. So the fever and chills is due to that rupture of um red blood cells. Okay. Then there is also headache. Headache is usually due to pain from the inflammation of brain pathology. So from the inflammation that occurs, they're invading the system, the body cells. So from the inflammation. So just there, this is the guidance on how you need to know the pathogenesis and the related to signs and symptoms. If you understand the pathogenesis, signs and symptoms will be super easy, even if you didn't really go deep into it. Okay. Then from there, you need to know different species of parasites. Under the same Plasmodium parasite, we have different species. We have vivax, or Plasmodium malariae. We have Plasmodium ovale, we have Plasmodium knowles. So you need to know these species, especially on malaria. I can emphasize that you need to know which one is quaterm, which one is tertian. So in terms of this parasite, we have the malignant tertian malaria, which is Plasmodium falciparum, the most common one, which causes malaria. Okay. Then Plasmodium vivax, it usually causes the benign tertian malaria. Then the Plasmodium ovale causes the tertian malaria. Then the Plasmodium malariae causes the quaterm malaria. These important are very much, this information is very much important because they can ask you in MCQ which one of the following is much correct with the complications. Okay. So you need to know that. Then you need to know that the knowledge is the one, the zoonotic one. It comes from animal. Okay. Then from there, you need to know the diagnostic stage. When is this parasite diagnosed? Okay. So when is this parasite diagnosed? So you can detect this parasite when it is still in the bloodstream, especially specifically for Plasmodium parasite, when it's still in the bloodstream, or at that stage where it is still in the ring forms of trophozoite stage, the gametocyte stage, just after erythrocytic cycle, they form those the ring stage form we call trophozoite. Trophozoites are not really matured. At that point, you can diagnose this. Then know some diagnostic tests that you can conduct. So like under microscopy, what can you detect?